What's up everybody, this is Yair and today we are going to draw Super Saiyan Broly. Okay, so before we'll start, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos every weekend. That being said, if you'll check the description box, you can see all the materials I'm using for this tutorial along with Amazon product links. So first I drew a perfect square. Each side is 4 centimeters, but you can draw it in any size you want to. Just make sure to use a suitable paper size. So we are going to draw Broly in a 3/4 pose. First I'm gonna start by drawing the shape of his face. Then I'm gonna mark the center of his face by drawing those two guidelines, and next I'm gonna draw his wrinkles between the eyes. We'll draw his eyebrow just like that. As you can tell, it gets thicker towards the edge, and to create the eye we'll simply draw 3 lines and we'll add some cheek marks underneath. I'm gonna do the same process for the left side, although the left side will appear smaller because it's further away. And then we'll simply draw 2 lines to create his bumps above the eyes. Awesome, next I'm gonna draw the nose. We'll do that by drawing 6 lines, just like that. And then we'll place his mouth really close to the nose with a very tiny gap. We'll do that by drawing 4 curved lines, and we'll indicate his teeth and the bottom lip. Awesome, next I'm gonna draw his ear. So we'll start by drawing the shape of his ear and then simply add the details. To create the scar, I'm simply gonna draw 2 curves. And now we can move on to his hair. So I'm gonna draw this guideline, then we'll draw 6 spikes on the front. And now we're simply gonna add the rest of the spikes. If you want, you can use this guideline to help you keep the right proportions. Once we are done with that, I'm gonna simply add lots of random lines from side to side, but make sure to draw them with the direction of the spike. Awesome, so we are done with this face, and now we can move on to the torso. First I'm gonna start by drawing the neck and the traps. Then I'm gonna draw the shape of his torso, and I'm gonna mark the center of his torso as well. As you can see, just the shape of a triangle. Then I'm gonna add 2 circles to indicate the shoulder muscles. And now we are going to add some details. So I'm gonna start with the neck muscles and the trachea. Then I'll draw his upper chest. Following with the color of his armor. Now we can draw the rest of the chest and the back muscles. And now we can draw the arm. So we'll start with the left arm. I'm gonna mark the shoulder and place the bicep, the tricep, and we'll do the same for his right arm. Awesome, and now we can refine his armor. I'm gonna start with his shoulder shield. And then we can add all the details. Awesome, so to finish up, we'll just add his scars. So we'll add one on his chest and one more on his left arm. Great, so we are done with the sketching part, and now we can move on to the inking process. So for this process I'm gonna use some inking pens. I'm gonna use 0.05, and I'm just gonna go all over the lines. I'll try to do it with one going as much as possible, and I'm gonna rotate the page so I can have my natural hand movement. Of course, you can also use 0.1. Awesome, once we are done with the inking process, I'm gonna take the notorious charcoal eraser and just get rid of all the lead. And I'll also take the exquisite eraser stick for those stubborn areas. Make sure to clean very well, because what we don't want to have is remaining lead, because then we can smear it later on by using the Copic markers. Okay, so once it's clean, we can start use the markers. I'm gonna use Copic markers. Those are alcohol based markers, which means they blend very well. Of course, if you don't have markers, you can use colored pencils, or you can just use your HB2 pencil to shade. Now, if you'll check your top left of the screen, you can see the exact number of Copic I'll be using. For this drawing, the light will come from the left side, which means that the right side will be darker. I'm going to start with the armor. I'm gonna start with the brightest tone and just fill up this area. As you can see, I'm coloring with the shape of the object. Next, I'm gonna use a darker tone for the shaded areas. Then I'll do some blending again with the brightest tone. And this is the result I want to get. So I'm gonna do the same process for the rest. Again, I'll remind you to color with the shape of the object, then we'll move to the darker tones, and finally we'll do some blending again with the brighter tone. Once we are done with that, we can move to the greens. So I'm just gonna fill this entire area. Then I'm gonna use the mid-tone. And finally the darkest tone right in this edge. We'll do some blending with the brightest tone. For this part right there, I'm going to use a very bright purple. You can also use a very bright gray as well. Awesome, so I'm gonna do the same process with the green tones and with the bright purple tones for the rest of the armor areas. And we are done with the armor. So now we can move on to the skin tones. So for the skin tones, I'm gonna use 3 different tones as well. We'll start with the brightest one. As you can see, I'm leaving some blank areas, mainly on the bicep. Next, I'm gonna use the mid-tone to mark the shaded areas. And finally the darkest tone to create a nice gradient. And this is the look we are going after. So I'm gonna do the same process for his neck muscles and the chest. Of course, you can also blend the colors using the brightest tone, just like we did before. Next, I'm going to color his scar using EO4. And now we'll do the exact same process for his left arm. Awesome. Once we are done with that, we can focus on his face. So again, I'm gonna start with E51 and just fill the entire area. If you want to get a more solid look, you can color in circles. That will make the marker to spill more ink. Now we can move to the mid-tone, and I'm leaving light on the areas that sticks out more, for example, the cheeks, the bumps above the eyes, and of course the left side, because that's where the light will come from. And to finish up, of course, using the darkest tone. blend in with the mid-tone, and color in the scar. Awesome, so we're going to leave the eyes blank. It doesn't have any pupils in this form. We're going to color the eyebrows. I'll start with the brightest tone, just fill the blank areas, and then I'll create a nice shade using Y15 that's a bit darker yellow. And now we can color his glorious hair. So I'm gonna start with the brightest tones. We use Y000, triple zeros. Now ignore this part. This is the order we are going after. I'm gonna start with the brightest tone, then add some shade with the mid-tone, and finally Y15 for minimum use, just like that, and some blending. This is the look we are going after, and I'm gonna do the same process for the rest of the spikes. So again, filling up all the blank areas with the brightest tone, then adding the shade with the mid-tone, and finally the darkest tone and some blending. Are done!
Everybody.
So this is how you draw Broly, Super Saiyan Broly from the upcoming Dragon Ball Super movie. I hope you guys and girls enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, make sure to hit the thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and of course subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos and tutorials every weekend. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section. If you want to buy some of my art, check out my Redbubble shop, the link is in the description box. Keep being awesome, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.